And welcome to another episode of Justice, a lawyer's hangout where we dissect legal issues. I am your host, Cecilia Meme, and today we are discussing something extremely important for the safety and well-being of many Nigerians: protection and restraining orders in Nigeria, the meaning, eligibility, process, and enforcement. These orders can protect victims of abuse, domestic violence, harassment, or threats, but many people do not know how they work. To help clarify all of this, we have with us a distinguished legal expert, Mr. Ebenezer Amadi, who will be shedding light on the meaning, process, and enforcement under Nigerian law. Welcome, Mr. Amadi, to today's episode. And congratulations on your swearing in as a notary public in the legal profession. Thanks for joining us on today's episode.
Thank you very much.
So to begin this conversation, what is a protection or restraining order under Nigerian law? And what is its main purpose?
Okay, thank you very much for the question. Protection order or restraining order is just like the name entails. It's an order that is made to protect a victim.
Okay.
Or somebody that can actually be a victim from any harm or further harm.
Okay.
From violence or abuse of any sort, as can be seen under the Violence and Persons Prohibition Act.
Okay. Moving on, which laws in Nigeria provide for a restraining or protection order?
Okay. There are various laws that makes provision for protection and restraining orders. The number one law there is the VAPP Act.
Okay.
The Violence Against Persons Prohibition Act.
Okay.
It made an extensive provision on protection order. And we also have other VAPP laws, Violence Against Persons Prohibition laws, for different states.
Okay.
Different states have their
own laws.
Yeah.
Okay.
The VAPP Act is a federal law applicable to FCT. However, different states
have domesticated it.
Domesticated it. So we also have the Child Rights Act.
Okay.
The Child Rights Act also made provision for protection order.
Okay.
Specifically for children.
For children.
Yes,
okay.
For children. Okay. Then we also have the ACJA, the Administration of Criminal Justice Act, which is applicable to FCT. Other states have their own ACJL, Administration of Criminal Justice
laws.
So it also made extensive provision for protection order.
Okay.
So these are basically the laws that
the VAPP
Act,
the Administration of Criminal Justice Act.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So, who is eligible to apply for a restraining order?
Yeah. Now, there are different people are actually eligible.
Okay.
The first of all is the victim. The victim can actually apply for a protection order or restraining order.
Victims of what in particular?
Yeah, victims of any sort of violence.
Okay.
Whether it's sexual violence or sexual abuse, or stalking, or harassment, cyber abuse. You can actually apply for a restraining order.
Okay, domestic violence is part of it.
Yeah, even
what of people that you mentioned cyber abuse. That's people that send unnecessary message to persons online, threats.
Yeah, or threatening to leak your private images or videos.
Okay.
All those things are all they are all criminal offenses.
Okay, so can someone apply for this order on behalf of another person?
Yes. I was trying to mention the different people. The victim, relatives of the victim can also apply. Law enforcement agencies can also apply if they think there's a need to protect somebody from any harm. So they can actually apply to get the restraining order.
Okay. Yes. Okay. So like you rightly mentioned, victims of domestic violence, sexual abuse, harassment, threats to life, or cyber abuse can qualify to apply for a protection or restraining order. So can children or minors be included in a protection order?
Yes.
or be protected through one?
Of course, children can actually be protected. In fact, because they are most times they are victims of different kind of abuse and violence. So children, they can be protected, and that's why the Child Rights Act specifically included it. You know, the essence of the protection order and restraining order is to give protection to the person.
Okay.
So it is something that is very important for children. We have seen situations where children have been abused by people under by their maybe guardian, those that are living with them. Just like in Nigeria, we call them people that take up children to use them as nannies.
Okay.
And they molest them. Just like today, I was reading something. I was reading it on Instagram. A child was abused by the woman that she was living with. In fact, she used a candle
Wow.
to burn her private parts. The woman was videoed. It happened in Imo State. She used a candle to burn her private parts and, punished her. It was a very, very nasty incident. We have seen series of abuse, of child abuse, especially by people they are living with, especially women. People using different kind of weapons on them, people using
Pressing
iron on the child, using, causing them serious harm on their body. So a restraining order can actually be used to protect the child. There was one that happened also, a story that happened. It's not a story, it's a reality. It just happened this week. A man, I think it's the uncle of the girl.
Okay.
Was sexually abusing the girl. And the girl, when the neighbors found out, they carried the girl and reported to the police. So when the police came, they arrested the man. And the man was threatening the girl that he will kill the girl.
Wow.
So after reporting the case, I think the family came, just what happened in Nigerian society.
Yeah.
They withdrew the case. She went back to that same house, and the man killed her.
Wow, that's very sad.
Yeah, the man, unalived
Unalived her.
Unalived her. So, that's why, if in a situation where the protection order is taken seriously,
yeah,
that child shouldn't have gone back to that place. In fact, the best thing to do is to restrain the man from having any
access, any contact to that child.
Yes, because restraining order is mostly used in developed countries. You see a situation where the court gives a restraining order against the spouse, a man or the husband, from having any contact with the wife. When it has to do with domestic violence. So.
But do you think Nigerians do not utilize restraining order as much as they should?
Yes, they are not utilizing it. And
why do you think that is?
Now, first of all, there's lack of awareness.
Okay.
A lot of Nigerians are not aware that they can get a restraining order. Secondly, our law enforcement agencies, both the police and NAPTIP, they don't also act. They are not prompt.
They are not proactive.
Yeah, they are not proactive when it has to do with protecting victims. We have seen serious, just like the instance I gave.
Yes.
Someone reported a serious case like this.
Instead of you to protect the person, you send the person went back to the abuser.
Even if the parents said they want to take the person back, you shouldn't allow, because once it has to do with the life of a person, it is in the hand of the state.
The person should be in the custody of the state.
Yes. So, but we see a situation where the law enforcement agencies don't care. They really don't put in effort to protect victims. Yes.
Okay, thank you for this. This has been a very enlightening section so far. We will take a short break, and when we return, we'll look at how protection orders are actually obtained, how long they last, and what happens when they are violated. Stay with us.
Camera rolling. Light set. Sound check. And action.
Hello
everyone. Welcome to today's program.
A program where we get to talk about the daily happenings around the
legal
world.
issues with intent to educate.
This is the perfect space to create professional quality videos, recording news, podcasts, and all media content. With top-of-the-line cameras, studio lighting, soundproof spaces, we provide everything you need for a seamless shoot. Our fully equipped studio ensures high-quality production every time. Enjoy a comfortable, air-conditioned environment with professional-grade gear and expert support. Contact us now or visit our Abuja location to reserve your spot.
Welcome back. And if you are just joining us, this is Justice, a lawyer's hangout where we dissect legal issues. And before the break, we were discussing protection and restraining orders in Nigeria. Mr. Amadi, before we continue, before we went on break, you made mention that Nigerians are not utilizing these restraining orders as much as they should. Is there a particular type of evidence needed to successfully obtain a protection order?
Yeah, you need a prima facie evidence.
Okay.
For instance, let me say, if somebody is threatening you, maybe threatening to cause you harm,
Okay.
or the person is stalking you. Let me use, for instance, the person has been sending you a message. You can actually, that message becomes a prima facie evidence that your life is in danger. If the person also calls you and you have a call recording to that effect, it becomes an evidence. So, and if also maybe there was no time for you to record, but the person came physical, you can also make a statement, which can also be used as evidence in the case. You know, generally, the essence of the restraining order is to protect the victim, is to give you the protection.
Okay, but does it only avail persons who are victims of violent abuse? How about somebody that constantly sends someone message saying, I love you, I like you, I want to marry you? Probably there's a trace of obsession. Can the person also apply to protect themselves?
Of course. It's stalking. What you're saying is stalking, you know? And it's quite
irrespective of the nature of the message.
Yeah, it's quite unfortunate that in Nigeria, we don't understand the gravity of the offenses we commit. And that is why when you see Nigerians, some of them, when they travel outside the country, they enter into problem. Because if, like the instance you gave, you are professing love to a lady, the lady said, no, I'm not interested. You still continue. You know, some people go to the extent of calling you and threatening you, you know, all those. It becomes stalking, and stalking is a criminal offense.
Okay.
So you can get a restraining order to that effect.
Okay, so now let's say I take this matter to court, but the abuser is not present. Can the court also grant me a protection order?
Yes, the court can grant you a protection order. Most times, protection order is granted ex parte.
Okay.
Yes, the interim order.
What does ex parte mean?
Ex parte means the other party does not need to be notified.
Okay.
And that's why it's called ex parte. So,
but subsequently, do they notify this person?
Yes. Once the order is gotten ex parte, you have to serve the person. You have to communicate to the person and notify that there is an order against you. Maybe if it has to do with coming to your house, there's an order. You shouldn't come to this person's house. You shouldn't talk to this person. There is an order against you. If you disobey the order, it becomes you've committed a crime. Yes.
Okay. So if somebody is stalking someone, for example, and the other party takes it to court, but the stalker is not present, the court can still go ahead to grant that restraining order, whether or not the person is present in court.
Yes, of course.
Okay, so how long does a protection order typically last?
Now, protection order, if it is interim, that's the first application. The interim order can last between 7 to 30 days.
Okay.
That's when we look at Section 28 of the VAPP Act.
Okay.
28. Then For the full order, it can last between 6 months to 8 to 1 year.
6 months to 1 year.
Yes.
Okay. Can it be renewed? Can it be extended?
Of course, if the danger still persists.
Yes. Okay, so what specific restrictions or conditions can a protection order place on an abuser?
Okay. There are different restrictions.
Okay, what are they?
Also depending on what you are praying for. The court can order for the abuser to refrain from contacting you. For instance, when it has to do with communication, don't talk to this person. If it has to do with violence, maybe the person maybe your spouse has been beating you. The order will be, don't touch this person.
Okay.
You understand? If maybe it has to do with leaking your private images to the public, that the order may stop you from, leaking the image to the public. So the order depends on the danger. Varies. It depends on the danger you are facing and also the type of the offense in question.
Okay, so for some, they can also, let's say for some people that are victims of drug abuse, like there's a matter trending on the social media space whereby one person is alleging that this person is into drug use. So in instances like that, if the person decides to go to court, the court can order that this person seek rehabilitation or counseling. Such orders can be given. If, for example, let's say somebody is complaining that this person is abusing drug, for example. So what I'm trying to say is that the court can give an order to ensure that this person seeks rehabilitation, because you mentioned that the circumstances may vary and what the court can grant will be determined on whatever issues the victims are facing.
Yeah.
So seeking counseling can be one of what the victims can request for, one of what the court can grant for, rather. So what happens when someone violates a protection order?
Okay, let me say, for instance, let me clarify what you're saying.
Yes.
You mean if somebody is being accused of abusing drugs?
Yes.
Whether we can use a protection order to mandate the person to go to rehabilitation.
To seek rehabilitation, yes. That's from not the victim.
From this
case online, this person is alleging.
Yeah.
The other person is saying, this person is alleging that this person takes drug and is requesting that person should seek rehabilitation. If that person, in the capacity of a husband, so to say, goes to court to state that, oh, this person is doing this, I've been trying to get her to seek rehabilitation and she's refusing, can the court grant an order such as that to compel that person? Yes.
No, the court cannot.
In that instance, except it is coming from the person being accused.
Okay. Because a restraining order is to restrain another person from harming you. This case,
so it can only come from the complainant, somebody that is complaining.
Complaining, yes.
Okay.
Or maybe you are related to the victim. The order is to protect the victim. It does not relate to issue of counseling and rehabilitation. The order means...
Now, this brings me to another question. What if the victim of this abuse does not want the protection?
If the victim does
Because like you earlier mentioned, some other persons can apply on behalf of the victim.
Yes.
What if the court grants the order and the victim doesn't want such? Is there a possibility of that?
No, but it all depends.
Okay.
Let me say, for instance, if the victim is a child, the victim does not need consent.
The victim does not
need to give consent.
Okay.
Because you're a child.
Okay.
Let me say a situation whereby the victim is suffering from insanity, or there is something that affects the mental capacity. You know, in law, when the person is a child, the issue of mental capacity to make decision comes to play.
Yes.
That's why we always have the guardian. So if the victim is, for instance, a child, the guardian, maybe the parents, can make such order and the consent of the child will not be needed.
But if the person is an adult?
If the person is an adult, it also depends.
Okay.
It also depends. But I don't think it is even possible for a victim that is suffering from harm. We say he doesn't want to be protected.
To say doesn't want to be protected. Okay.
I don't think it's even possible.
Okay, so what happens when someone violates a protection order?
Of course, the person will face as disobey the court and will be punished for that.
Which of our authorities can enforce it?
The police can enforce it. The NAPTIP can enforce it. Civil defense, these are law enforcement agencies.
Okay.
They can enforce such orders.
Yeah, so the law is clear. Once a protection order is issued, it must be respected. So, Mr. Amadi, do you have any exit recommendations?
Yes, there are a lot of exit recommendations. Number one is we need to understand as Nigerians that you can actually be protected.
Okay.
There is something called the VAPP Act, the Violence Against
Persons Prohibition Act.
A lot of people don't still
understand it.
And even our law enforcement agencies, some police don't even understand the provisions of the VAPP Act. They still rely on the penal code
and the criminal code.
Some of this, the VAPP Act modernized a lot of things, made it broader than it used to be.
Yes.
So my first recommendation is people, both the law enforcement agencies and the citizens, need to be abreast of the VAPP Act. Okay. And secondly, the protection order, then there is need for urgency to apply for it.
Yes.
Okay. There's need. Anytime your life is in danger,
apply for a protection order.
Yeah, we have seen a situation where couples have died. A couple was killed by maybe the husband or the wife. Most of the cases were issues of violence.
Yes.
Yeah, especially, let me put it particularly where a party, one of the couple unalived the other. There has always been issues of continuous threats
to life.
So when it becomes a continuous threat, you need to ask for protection. That's how developed countries. That's how they work. They operate, and that's why in UK, once maybe your wife makes a complaint against you, they will order you to leave the house immediately. That's what the police will do. You have to leave the house to avoid any other further occurrence.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Amadi, for bringing clarity to today's conversation. So this information will go a long way in helping people understand their rights and the legal protections available to them. To our listeners, if you or someone you know is experiencing abuse, please reach out for help and take advantage of the legal protections available under Nigerian law, or you can report a violation at ljnigeria.org. And don't forget, you can catch other episodes of our legal discussions on our YouTube channel. All you need to do is search for Justice, a Lawyer's Hangout on our playlist, or you click the link on any of our social media bio at LJE Nigeria. Thank you for tuning in to Justice, a Lawyer's Hangout. I am your host, Cecilia Meme. Stay informed, stay empowered, and see you in the next episode.
Thank you.